Hello and welcome to Who Wore It Better, where we review Raw and SmackDown back to back and try and figure out which show won for the week. Well, folks, this past weekend was the maiden voyage, if you will, the first episode of the West Coast Wrestling Connection up in Portland, Oregon, with yours truly on color commentary. If you want to watch that episode and you want to hear how I did on color commentary, I have the link for it in the description and over here in the gimmick in the upper right-hand corner. Check it out if you have time. Let me know what you thought about the show and my commentary. I'm really curious to hear what people have to say about it. Raw begins with Kurt Angle in the ring. He announces he's going to strip Brock Lesnar of the Universal Championship. He said he's doing it. As he's saying it, Paul Heyman magically appears and cuts him off. All the cocky swagger and bravado that Heyman's had for so long seems to vanish immediately at the mere thought of strippage. It scares him deeply. So he says, you know, Brock loves WWE. He loves representing the company. He's going to go to UFC and challenge for their heavyweight championship as the Universal Champion. But Kurt says he's got to wrestle at SummerSlam. So Paul says, okie doke, but who will we have to compete against Brock Lesnar for the championship? Out comes one by one Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Elias, Finn Balor, then the big dog, Roman Reigns. Interesting comment that Drew said when he came out, because they all cut little promos, is that Drew says, you know, he basically said, well, Dolph and I aren't going to be working together anymore. It was an amicable split, and now phase 2 is underway where he challenges for the championship, which is cool, but at the same time, like, so much for their comment like a month or so ago where they said the tag team division's on notice. So no more tag team apparently. It's just Drew on his own now, which is fine. It's just the split kind of came out of nowhere in that regard. So then Kurt makes 2 triple threat matches for the evening, and the winners of those 2 matches will face next week to determine who will face Brock at SummerSlam. So the first triple threat match right off the bat, Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, and Drew McIntyre. And holy shit, Drew with a plancha to the guys on the outside. That was pretty cool. Drew takes out Finn with a chair as Finn's on the top rope. Finn with the receipt later on. He's got a chair of his own. He just decks Reigns repeatedly. Roman takes like about 90% of the heat in this matchup here. Between Finn and Drew, he's just taken all the beatings. But in the end, despite all that, Reigns does win the match after hitting Balor with a spear right after Drew hit Balor with a Claymore. So Reigns wins. The finish, you know, it's Roman being pretty well guarded here where he takes all this beating. And then it's the complaint I had on Extreme Rules with Baron Corbin doing like 85% of the work, and then Finn comes back at the end out of nowhere to win. Same thing happens here, but with Roman Reigns. It's a little frustrating, but the match itself as a whole I thought was very entertaining. Backstage, Kurt puts Bayley and Sasha in a tag team match with Alicia Fox and Dana Brooke later in the night, and Kurt says if these guys can't get along and can't work out a victory, then one of them's being traded to SmackDown. Why? Again, what in the hell does Kurt care if these two get along or not, if they're friends or not? It makes no sense. We have seen tag teams splitting up under Kurt's watch, and he never gave a shit about them breaking up. So I don't understand why he's so invested in these two. The logic or lack thereof with this angle is baffling, and it does not get any less baffling as the night goes on. Dolph Ziggler comes out to celebrate his win from Sunday at Extreme Rules. He says that it was the first time in 17 years that the Intercontinental Championship was defended in the main event of a pay-per-view. I had to go back to look up what the hell he was talking about. Backlash 2001, Austin and Triple H, who was the Intercontinental Champion, the 2-man power trip versus Undertaker and Kane, winner take all. So there you go. Bobby Roode interrupts and challenges Dolph for the title. Dolph answers the challenge to a match, but then says, oh, it's not an actual title match. So we have the match here. Great match between the two. Dolph hits a super kick to win. Kudos to Ziggler for wrestling a 15-minute match here after a 30-plus minute belter of a match on Sunday. So, of course, Dolph showing off that he's the workhorse. So, big surprise. Still very entertaining stuff. Mojo Roy takes on Tyler Breeze, who's riding solo in the wake of Fandango's injury. Did Mojo get another new theme? It feels like he did, but I'm not sure. It just all kind of sounds like white noise to me these days. Mojo just wrecks Tyler's shit in the end with 3 big moves in a row. A pounce, the lights out elbow, and an Alabama slam to win. Momentum, faux Mojo. We get that women's tag team match, Sasha and Bayley versus Dana Brooke and Alicia Fox. Haven't seen her in a match on Raw in forever. Good to see her back. The match does not really get very far though, but a couple minutes in, it just spills onto the outside. Sasha pulls Alicia off of Bayley. Dana takes this wholly unnecessary bump off the apron onto the floor, and a Beal kind of bump, like she's grabbing Sasha by the hair and Sasha just kind of pulls her over her shoulders into a Beal thing. Great bump, but just for this match, it's totally unnecessary because it's a double count out and it's a draw, so neither Sasha or Bayley are being traded to SmackDown, I guess. Then backstage, Sasha admits that despite their differences, she says to Bayley, she still cares about Bayley and that she loves her, she always has, she always will. So now now what the hell? I don't know what to think about this storyline anymore. So are they still going to fight it out eventually? Was this just the end of the feud? Are they going to make out? I don't know. The mind boggles with this angle. It's like, I don't know what to make of this anymore. The new Raw Tag Team Champions, the B Team, on the heels of their non-stop celebration at Extreme Rules, take on the Ascension in non-title action. The Revival looking on backstage, always looking on backstage, that Revival. The B Team wins, and then after the match, Matt and Bray interrupt on the big screen. So Matt says the B Team will pay for their cosmic crimes and that there will be a rematch in the future. And apparently the future is next week. The Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss comes out with Mickie James. She runs down Nia Jax on Ronda Rousey after what happened at Extreme Rules. Then out comes Rousey through the crowd, Shield style. She officially trespasses when she gets on the stage to cut off Bliss and Mickie, and she chases them around the ring, into the ring, and she beats the hell out of both of them. Kurt Angle comes out to try and talk Ronda down. Then Constable Corbin comes out and tells Kurt, you gotta put your foot down. What would Stephanie think? And so Kurt says, I'm gonna give you another week to your suspension, and Corbin's like, nah, it ain't gonna work like that, playa. And he's going to call Stephanie, but he can't find his phone. I thought at first it was a botch where he just couldn't find his phone, and he goes to the back, and then Kurt's like pickpocketed. He had the phone in his hand, which I thought was a pretty funny moment. So he says that, you're still suspended for another week, but you will have a championship match at SummerSlam with Alexa Bliss. But if you lay a hand on Alexa before then, the match is off. At least I'm pretty sure that's what he meant to say. The verbiage wasn't exactly that, but I think that's what he meant. So I'm very curious to see what they're going to do in the next few weeks, where like Alexa, what she's going to do to try and provoke Ronda to beating her up before SummerSlam, so the match is off. The match so nice we had to see it twice apparently, as Authors of Pain take on Titus Worldwide. Last chapter on Apollo Crews, and that's the end of that. In a follow-up from last week, Ember Moon takes on Sarah Logan of the Riot Squad in singles action. Logan is channeling the spirit of her fiancé, Ro of War Raiders, by wearing a little bit of Viking paint on her face. And speaking of which, Cole and Corey are like reading the exact same notes, and they repeat each other on the commentary when talking about Sarah's new Viking gimmick. She's a hillbilly Viking apparently now. It's a good hard-hitting match here. Liv Morgan with a distraction allows Logan to win the match. It's her first singles win on the main roster, so good for her and good match. Main event time is the second triple threat match on the night. Elias versus Bobby Lashley versus Seth Rollins. The winner of this match faces Roman Reigns next week to determine who will face Brock at SummerSlam. Another solid match here. Each guy getting a chance to shine, getting their shit in, looking good in the match here. The match ends when Elias knocks Seth out of the ring and then eats a spear by Lashley for his efforts. Lashley wins the match, and boy howdy, it's going to be Lashley and Roman Reigns again next week in a rematch from Extreme Rules. Look, I know I said I enjoyed that match at the pay-per-view, but can we let it simmer a bit? I mean, we can let this go for a little bit. I don't know. I'm excited about the prospect of Lashley working SummerSlam. After what I've seen against Roman Reigns on Sunday, I think, it'd be cool to see him face Lesnar. I know that was kind of the rumored storyline to be happening when he came back, and now it seems like that's going to be happening in some form or fashion. Ryan Satin tweeted today, and I think it could be really a very interesting idea to have it end in like a draw, a bullshit draw, whatever, but we have a triple threat match at SummerSlam, Reigns, Lashley, and Lesnar, and then if Satin said you put Hogan back in as the special enforcer or something, and then he'll raise the hand of Lashley, the first Black Universal Champion. That's pure speculation on his part, wishful thinking. I don't know, it's crazy enough to work. Before I move on to SmackDown, this week's Who Wore It Better is sponsored by SeatGeek. You know the one, folks. I've been talking this up for months and months. It's the app you can download on your iOS or Android device that gives you ticket deals for concerts, sporting events, WWE, you name it. There are great deals all over the place thanks to SeatGeek. Go save some money. Download the app using the link at the top of this description. Go to the Accounts tab, type in the promo code REGRET, and get $20 back on your first ticket purchase. Jeff Hardy opens up SmackDown on Tuesday, and Byron Saxton on commentary said it best after the segment where he says, well, Hardy's addressing the universe in the only way Jeff Hardy can, and that's putting it pretty succinctly there, because Jeff is just all over the place with his promo and his delivery and everything. It's entertaining, but it just feels he's kind of saying everything off the cuff. It's pretty wild. We get a Shinsuke promo backstage after Jeff's promo, and it's really good. He's talking about how Jeff's a sad clown, and he'll give the crowd a reason to smile tonight when he makes the sad clown cry once again. God bless America. Opening match, AJ Styles takes on Andrade Cien Almas in non-title action. What a huge leap up for Andrade here, because, after weeks and weeks of doing nothing, or less than nothing in some cases, to this little feud with Sin Cara, this start and stop thing with him, now all of a sudden he's got a non-title match with Styles out of nowhere, so good on him. Almost looks great here against AJ. He's really able to hold his own and really find an answer for a lot of AJ's offense. Styles is somehow able to kick out of Almas's flying knees in the corner. He catches him with the calf crusher and Almas taps right away. It was a really good match. Really cool to see this. It puts Almas over in a big way. Despite the defeat, he still looks very strong. Backstage, Aiden English talks to Lana and tries to apologize for what he did in his involvement in the title match with Rusev at Extreme Rules, where he pulled down the turnbuckle pad and Rusev ate the exposed turnbuckle. But they act like that was the finish of the match. It wasn't. There was other stuff, and I think Rusev kicked out of that and the Springboard 450. But don't let facts get in the way of a good story here. So so Lana's accent comes and goes. Aiden just wants a second chance, and we'll see if he gets one. Becky Lynch versus Mandy Rose in singles action. Pretty standard fare here. Short and sweet. Becky wins with the disarm her yet again. After the match, she gets on the microphone and challenges Carmella to a title match somewhere in the future. Immediately following that, backstage, Paige makes a non-title match between the two of them, where if Becky Lynch does win that match, it will be on like Diddy Kong at SummerSlam. It's a very nice, kind of refreshing change of pace, this organic way for Becky to earn a championship match. She's been racking up a lot of wins in the last several weeks. So yeah, it makes sense that she would be a top contender for the title with all these wins she's been earning. So last week, apparently in some online exclusive segment, Ty Dillinger came out for a match and Samoa Joe beat him down on the entrance ramp. So that leads to this match on Tuesday, Joe versus Ty. It's a squiggity squash match. Joe wins with the Coquina clutch, and that's pretty much it. Good to see Joe back on the air. Haven't seen him in a few weeks. So yeah, it's pretty refreshing, but at the same time, I sure wish I did something with him besides having him show up every couple of weeks to beat people up and then do nothing with him. The Miz comes out to deliver a eulogy for Team Hell No. Corey Graves earlier in the night billed it as a must-see funeral, which is a pretty hilarious phrase. Local talent trailed the Miz on the ramp with this table that's got a severed mannequin head with Kane's mask on it. I thought that was kind of weird. Miz puts himself over, which gets a pop from the fans for some reason. The things that should get booed don't. He talks about Team Hell No's tumultuous past. He says he told us so that it was going to break up, and then he runs down Daniel Bryan, says his return from injury has been a bust. Daniel Bryan's music plays, and he gets the jump on Miz from behind. He enters through the crowd. He beats up the local talent, the goons, and Miz runs away. That was a good promo here by the Miz. It looks like we're finally going to be getting that Daniel versus Miz match at SummerSlam. I thought they were going to really show patience and try and hold it out to WrestleMania next year. That's way too wishful thinking. And so SummerSlam's a good one, though. Assuming they're going to do it. They've done a very good job slowly building this thing up without having a whole lot of direct conflict between the two of them. So now it seems like they're going to finally do it. I really cannot wait for that. We had Kofi Kingston versus Eric Young, the man who drove him through a table on Sunday at Extreme Rules. I really enjoyed this matchup here. I love the finish where Killian Dane throws Xavier Woods headfirst into Kofi, allowing Young to hit his finisher to win. And boy, Sandy's stacking up those wins, man. 2 in a row, baby. Let's keep going. Main event time, the U.S. Championship on the line as Shinsuke Nakamura defends against Jeff Hardy. And I will say this, for a guy who's reportedly being written off TV to nurse an injured back, Jeff was wrestling his ass off on Tuesday. He didn't fly until the very end. He had a whisper in the wind at one point, but landed on his feet, which I thought was pretty clever. And then he actually did hit the Swanton on Shinsuke, which was crazy because I've been reading all these reports. Oh, he hasn't been hitting the Swanton in weeks, so I guess he was saving it up for this one moment. So he hits the Swanton after a great match between these two. And then Randy Orton comes out, pulls Jeff off of him. The match ends in a DQ. Super disappointing, but the beatdown that we see Orton give Jeff after the match is just epic. He beats the piss out of him, and then he grabs him by the hole in his ear and his earlobe, and he just yanks it, and oh god, that was hard to watch. I don't even have pierced ears, but that was just nauseating and just to watch. That was really hard to take in there, and they just held that shot, super tight shot of the earlobe action. And so then Orton drops him with a DDT off the table, and that's how the show ends. I'm surprised that the lengths Hardy went to push himself in this matchup. I figured that, I thought what we saw at Extreme Rules would have sufficed. They could have had that be the write-off, and I would have been fine with it. So I was surprised that they had the match here, but I guess this was a way to prevent Jeff from wrestling 2 nights in a row, or 2 nights out of 3, like that what we saw on Tuesday. Just kind of pace himself a bit, so that makes sense as well. It's a good match. Too bad the match ended in a DQ, and I guess Orton is officially heel now. There were some people in my comments section at Extreme Rules Review said, no, Brian, Randy's a tweener, he was doing that stuff all the time before he got hurt. No, this is pretty clearly heel stuff. Time now for me to decide which show won for the week, Raw or SmackDown. This week I have to once again give the nod to SmackDown. It was overall a more entertaining show. There was some fluff in the show that I didn't really care for, like the whole Joe versus Ty thing. And then, you know, Becky and Mandy, you could argue was kind of fluff, but it was building to something more with Carmella. But the smaller things that took place didn't detract from the bigger, more substantial things we saw on the show. I really enjoyed the opening match with AJ and Almas. I liked the Miz's Team Hell No eulogy. Young versus Kofi was a good match, and the main event of Shinsuke versus Jeff. Even though there was the disappointing DQ finish, it made sense in terms of the story in that context, so I don't have a problem with the DQ finish in that regard. The match itself was very good. But yeah, like I said, Joe and Ty, you take it or leave it. I just wish they did something meaningful with Samoa Joe. Don't keep, you know, showing him up and then taking him off TV to do fuck all. And bring him back and actually have him in a storyline is all I ask. With Raw, I did enjoy the opening segment with all the guys coming out, and then the opening match with Finn and Roman and Drew. Dolph versus Bobby Roode was a great match, and I enjoyed the Alexa Bliss Ronda Rousey segment. That was one of the stronger segments of the whole night, but the whole confusion of what's going on with Sasha and Bayley just had me kind of like scratching my head. AOP versus Titus Worldwide, why did that match have to happen on Monday? And you know, the second hour overall was a big letdown. The first hour was very strong. Third hour was better, but then there's this big inverted bell curve. The second hour just kind of dragged for me. Let me know what you guys thought about Raw and SmackDown in the comments section below, and be sure to vote which show you thought was better in the gimmick in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Be sure to thumbs up this video if you like it, subscribe to Wrestling with Regret, buy the t-shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com, and check out Patreon.com/WrestlingWithRegret for exclusive perks and bonus content. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.